According to Belgian custom, King Leopold III rides through Brussels for his enthronement, which takes the place of coronation.
The Belgian monarchy crisis, also known as the Royal Question, was the final straw that pushed Belgium into reform from the corrupt practices of King Leopold III and his ancestors, Leopold II and Albert I, whose actions led to a reaction from the Belgian public in violent riots that were demanding a revolutionary transition to a new ceremonial monarchy with a new democratic government for the country under King Baudouin's rule. In 1938, Hitler invaded and occupied Austria and the Czech Republic. On September 1st of 1939, Hitler invaded and occupied Poland, marking the start of World War II. In September of 1939, Belgium announced a declaration of neutrality. Quote, "It shall not be permitted, 1. For any part of the territory whatsoever to be occupied by a belligerent military force. 2. For troops or convoys of munitions or war supplies to enter or pass through this territory by land. 3. For belligerent warships or similar vessels to enter or pass through the territorial sea. 4. For belligerent military aircraft or similar aircraft to enter or traverse the territorial sea, or airspace over such territory or territorial sea within the jurisdiction of the state." End quote. In May of 1940, Hitler ignored Belgium's wish to remain neutral in the conflict breaking out in Europe. On the 10th, Germany invaded, and on the 28th, Leopold made the choice to surrender. King Leopold was born on November 3rd of 1901 to Prince Albert and Princess Elizabeth of Belgium. Leopold was crowned king in 1934 when his father died in a climbing accident. Leopold's son and heir to the throne, Baudouin, was born in September of 1930 to King Leopold III and his first wife, Queen Astrid. King Leopold III was a hands-on leader as he made military decisions, while King Baudouin was the face of reform. During World War II, Leopold made several controversial decisions, which put together led to the monarchy crisis. On May 10th of 1940, Germany ignored the Belgian neutrality statement and invaded. 18 days later, Leopold surrendered.
Belgium had a magnificent army. When war came to her, she threw more than 500,000 men into the field alongside the Allies. The Belgian army also thought it had a magnificent leader. That leader failed in the hour of trial.
Winston Churchill reacted to the surrender by saying, quote, "At the last moment, when Belgium was already invaded, King Leopold called upon us to come to his aid, and even at the last moment we came. He and his brave, efficient army, nearly 500,000 strong, guarded our left flank and thus kept open our only line of retreat to the sea. Suddenly, without prior consultation, with the least possible notice, without the advice of his ministers, and upon his own personal act, he sent a plenipotentiary to the German command, surrendered his army, and exposed our whole flank and means of retreat." End quote. The majority of the Belgian government went into exile in London and advised their king to do the same. Leopold's decision to stay behind in Belgium with his people caused a split between his people. Many viewed his decision as traitorous, while others viewed it as heroic. This split was between the two regions of Belgium, the Flemish in the north and the French in the south. In 1941, King Leopold III married a Flemish commoner named Lilian Bales, further infuriating the people of Belgium as the marriage made it look like he was living a life of luxury, while his people suffered under Nazi rule.
The marriage to Lilian Bales took place almost simultaneously with a harshening of the occupation regime.
In 1944, Leopold's brother, Prince Charles, Count of Flanders, became Prince Regent, as the royal family was deported by Hitler to Hirstein in Germany. On May 7, 1945, the king and his family were liberated, causing people in Belgium to rally together against their return. The trade newspaper La Wallonie reported on the strikes, stating that, quote, "The strike will be general, indefinite, total. We will not care of the equipment. We will let the water drown the coal mines." End quote. Eventually, a law was adopted organizing a referendum on whether or not the king should return. The response of the referendum was 57.68% in favor. However, the reaction from the 42.32% who voted no was so violent that the vote didn't matter.
This was something that Leopold, as a king, he wanted a referendum because he knew that the majority of the population would probably vote for him.
On the 22nd of July, 1950, the king and his family were finally able to return to Brussels. The citizens of Belgium reacted to the return of their king with more violent protests and more political opposition, one of the most violent being the Grasbourg shooting. Leopold III abdicated on July 16, 1951, and Baudouin's coronation took place on the following day.
And just as the prince was about to take the oath, a communist leader shouted, "Long live the Republic!" The interrupter having been shouted down, the Prince Royal then took the oath.
La Constitution et les lois du peuple belge, de maintenir l'indépendance nationale et l'intégrité du territoire.
When Baudouin became king, Belgium was quite a different country from when Leopold III had become king. And especially the position of the monarchy had altered, had changed a lot.
Under the leadership of King Baudouin, reforms to the state, to the constitution, and to the legislation were made. This was done with a focus on uniting the Flemish, French, and German parts of the country that had drifted apart during his father's rule. A regional economic policy was put into place during the 1960s to help with the growing unrest. As part of the growing reform for the state, the Flemish and French received more power, while the German community got a directly elected council. King Baudouin also participated in the first community revision of the Constitution in Belgium's history. King Baudouin worked to expand the rights and abilities of the governments and regions on multiple different levels, including health, education, and public works. King Baudouin was also the last king to have possession of the Congo, declaring its independence in Leopoldville on the 30th of June, 1960. The new democratic form of government allowed Belgium to work with other countries to form the precursor to the European Union on March 25, 1957, as one of the 6 founding members. While there was some opposition to his decisions, King Baudouin was widely accepted and praised by the people. Overall, the government became more democratic, with the monarchy becoming more ceremonial and symbolical. Today, Belgium is still divided into 3 parts, with 2 being more known. Baudouin died due to a heart attack on vacation in Spain in 1993, and his nephew, King Felipe, is now on the throne. He continues to move forward with the reform and bring connection between the different parts of the country. King Leopold III and his ancestors led to the formation of the Belgium that exists today. However, there are several similar royal crises currently happening in Europe today. Something similar is currently happening in Norway, with the crown princess having had a 3-year relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, who was a registered sex offender and trafficker. The princess's son has also been arrested multiple times for assault. These actions have caused the Norway public to question if the crown princess should become queen. In February of 2026, a vote was proposed to convert the government to a republic with a president. Only 26 MPs voted in support of this possibility, while 141 voted against it. Presently, the people of Spain are also split. Some believing that the former king, King Juan Carlos, should remain in self-imposed exile, while the main party of Spain thinks that the exile should be ended. Juan Carlos abdicated to his son and heir to the throne in 2014 after his illegal actions, including elephant hunting, were discovered, and self-imposed exile that began in 2020 have created tensions between the monarchy and the Spanish citizens. There are multiple monarchy crises happening in the world today that relate significantly to what happened in Belgium 70 years ago.
Pour un coup de visage